Well, good morning. How are you all today? And welcome to Integrated Preparedness. I want to talk today about dystopia, about dystopia in our schools, dystopian teaching in our schools, and whether they're trying to warn us or train us in this. I found this interesting. I had this written down on my list, wrote it down yesterday to do this one today, and designed the thumbnail and everything like that. And I get up this morning to see that pinball preparedness, as things were coming through my feed, there was something that he had already done this morning that talking about dystopia, and I thought, oh man, I hate to do. Occasionally it happens, channels that cover much the same things, although we cover them in different ways. And actually, I suggest you go and watch his after you watch this one. Uh, we every now and then it comes out that we have the same ideas, and my original thought was, oh man, okay, now I'm gonna have to move that down the list. I don't want to come back right away with another dystopian thing, but I said, not that this kind of feeds into it because it's something that I'll tell you in a minute. Um, so I got up. First, I will suggest a couple of things about that. When Kelly got back from taking the kids to school, I said, "Here, I want you to listen to a few things here on Pinball channel that he said this morning." And so I played it for her, and it caused us to have a great conversation. So, like I say, after this, and most of you, I imagine, because he's a pretty big channel, uh, I imagine most of you have seen it. If you haven't, because we don't all share the same subscribers, do go watch his the one he put up today. It's great information. It's about what's happening in Canada, and I forget the name of it up there. He covers it well about what's coming up. Uh, that caused Kelly to ask me a couple of things that kind of fit in with what I had been thinking about. My son just got done with a project in which he constructed out of cardboard and things like that, a bunker, a doomsday bunker. Now the interesting thing about that is that he's in a public school that many people don't realize there are good public schools out here. There's a bunch of trash ones too, but there's some good ones. And I've been surprised over the last couple of years the assignments that they have been given uh, as books to read and things to watch and such. One of which was uh, The Giver. If you all are familiar with that, I'm not familiar enough to uh, to really speak on it. I haven't watched the movie. I haven't read the book, but I've watched enough of it to know that, and they've told me about it, that it is about a dystopian future. Uh, Another book that they read, and then why they watched the movie, was The Hunger Games, and I found this interesting, and that made me go back um, to what I had wondered about before. You all remember in school, probably, that you were assigned to read 1984 and Animal Farm and Brave New World, right? Right? I'm sure most of you were. I was. I didn't read any of them because they were assignments, and I usually didn't do what I was assigned to do, which is why so many of my English teachers, if they were still alive, would be shocked that I grew up to be a writer. That's because I didn't pay attention to what they said. Uh, but I've been thinking about this for a while. Why were we assigned those books? And you all are aware, you're familiar with the story of 1984, of Animal Farm. All animals are equal, some are simply more equal. And Brave New World. I mean, these guys that wrote these were brilliant thinkers, and they come out as science fiction, right? And like nobody, oh no, that would never happen. This is so scary, right? We're going to read this because this is so scary. And of course, what it was simply the warning about a totalitarian government, much like Atlas Shrugged, but in a more chewable fashion. Uh, and most people found it kind of titillating to watch. Fahrenheit, what is it, 451? Uh, but it would never happen, right? And I've wondered for the last couple of years, why were we being assigned to read those things? Were they, I mean, they seemed weird, right? Uh, were they actually trying to warn us? Was there something in the public school system that was trying to warn us about these things? Or were they trying to acclimate us to the idea that this was what was coming? In either way, they were telling us this is what was coming. Uh, but was it for our benefit or to mold us into a receptive mindset for these? And this is what I think about the same thing with what our kids are being assigned to study nowadays. I mean, nobody would think that The Giver or Hunger Games is a future that would be any good at all, right? I mean, this is certainly not something to be held up to say this is what we want. So why are they wanting? The funny thing was, let's see if I have something else written on my list. Uh, the purpose behind it. Now, let me know what you think about this. While while I was having Kelly watch some of Pinball's video, she loves to read the comments, which I do. You learn so much by reading the comments. And she asked me, she says, have you ever, and it was, well, I'll just give you a clue here. Pinballs was about pre-crime, okay, and the laws that they're, a bill that is put forth in Canada. And if it's in Canada, they're going to try it here. We'll see what happens, but they'll try it here in the United States. And it's already happened in many other Western countries. She asked me, have you ever seen Minority Report? Well, probably most of you are familiar with Minority Report. I remember seeing a little bit of it years ago. I didn't go to see it when it came out. I just looked it up. I see it came out in 2002. So it came out, over 20 years ago. And I didn't watch it then. I'm not a Tom Cruise guy. And but some years later, I think I tried to watch it on one of the movie channels, Excuse me. Let me take a drink. And you all are familiar with the concept, pre-crime and all this. I said, that's stupid. I've never watched it because when I watched it that time, I thought that was so outlandish, it was so ridiculous, it would never happen that I never watched it. And yet now we are in that world, aren't we? This is exactly what we're talking about up in Canada, what Pinball was talking about up in Canada. So both of us agreed. I said, well, we got to watch it, check it out from the library, and we have to watch it and have the kids watch it too. And there are a lot of these things that I think, I've said a long time ago that maybe the Terminator series is the best preparedness movies you can watch, because we are going to be fighting, unless we are blessed with a CME, we're going to be fighting the technology of the future. And to stay away from it doesn't serve our purpose at all. I mean, if those who just want to, huddle down and eat their rice and beans until they starve to death in an ever-increasing technological world, well, they are dooming themselves to a very slow, sad, and lonely demise. That's not the demise that I want at all. And that's why I encourage people, stay up with what's going on in the tech world. You need to be able to understand it, deal with it, and protect yourself from it. So we're going to watch the Minority Report one of these days. So you all feel free. Probably most of you have seen it, right? I know. I'm the only guy in the world that has never seen any of these mainstream cultural movies. I've never seen Blazing Saddles. I was always more interested in the things I was doing in my own life to watch movies. But that's just me. That's not a slam on people who like movies. It's just the way. It's why I don't watch movies. But in the process of that, somebody suggested the coming Summit of the Future that's coming out with the United Nations, and so I looked it up, and I'm going to read several things to you here. It's partly warning, and it's partly me putting it out there for you to express your opinion on. Tell me and everybody else what you think about it. And I think it'll serve everyone well to be aware of this. So we have the coming United Nations Summit of the Future in 2024. I'm reading off their website here. A sub headline is Multilateral Solutions for a Better Tomorrow. Well, they're great at selling these things. Any liberal is great. It's why the Democrat Party always does well, because they're able to phrase things well that appeal to the masses. Well, United Nations, being the supreme communist group that they are, is good at that too. These people are the best at propaganda. Okay, so I'll read here a couple of paragraphs, and I'm going to go down and read you a list of 11 things that they are doing. And then we'll talk about what to do about it. Major global shocks in recent years, including the COVID-19 pandemic, the Ukraine war, and the triple planetary crisis, among others, have challenged our international institutions. Unity around our shared principles and common goals is both crucial and urgent. Gotta catch you. Crucial and urgent. The Summit of the Future is a once-in-a-generation opportunity, okay? Once-in-a-generation opportunity. Got to do it now. Got to get on this. This is our only chance in a generation. See the messages that are being sent there. To enhance cooperation in critical challenges and address gaps in global governance. Did you catch that? Oh, there must be gaps in global governance, which carries within it the message that there has to be global governance. We have seen some gaps in that, and we are going to address them. Reaffirm existing commitments, including to the Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, and the United Nations Charter, and move towards a reinvigorated multilateral system that is better positioned to positively impact people's lives. Building on the SDG Summit in 2023, member states will consider ways to lay the foundations for more effective global cooperation that can deal with today's challenges as well as new threats in the future. I wonder if I should make this a separate video of its own. Let me go down here. Yeah, I didn't mean to do this, but I am going to do this. I'm not going to read the rest of this in this. I'm going to make this a separate video, so that, because otherwise this is going to be go run on and on and on. So I'll do a second one on that as soon as I get done with this. So my question is, and my thought is, they have been assigning us, us little American children, dystopian fiction since the 30s. I mean, or 40, I forget when these books were written, but Huxley was, back in the 20s and the 30s. And they've been assigning these books for generations. It's a couple of generations now. Why? Why are they doing that? Is it to prepare us to be good little lemmings and fit into this? Or is it to warn us? Is there something in the system? And I know most people say there's nothing good in the public school system. Okay. Whatever you want to think. But we need to be taking a look at it. The interesting thing is that I see in my kids, and I ask them, about their friends, I see a growing interest in a dystopian future. Not an interest, not that they want to live in it, but a growing concern, a growing awareness that the world as it is becoming is not the world that they want to live in. And I think that's great. Now, many of you would say, well, with you as their father, and you write books about this stuff, and it's obvious, it's natural that they would feel this way. And I can understand to an extent that's why my kids would feel that way. Okay, if you noticed a glitch there, no, it wasn't a warp in time. I had to sneeze. But if you think, well, with the years of their dad, they should be interested. But I don't think that's it. Maybe a little bit with my kids, but there's other kids, they say, that are just as concerned about this. You know where a lot of them are getting their information? TikTok. That's another thing that I'm going to address. Is the move to ban TikTok? Is that a good or a bad thing? And I don't think that it's necessarily all that good. I'll explain my reasoning in another video. Uh, so, what do you think about this? Why have we been fed for 50, 60, 70 years a continuous diet of dystopian fiction? It should be a warning. I'm sure to a lot of people, well, I know to a lot of people like you, and we talk about this stuff, it is a warning. Other people, it's just kind of like, oh, yeah, okay, well, they'll be ready for it when it comes. And we've seen how many people in our society are more than happy to go into this, right? So I would suggest when you're done with this, oh, I have an announcement too about the Stonemont gathering, Stonemont Integrative Preparedness gathering. Maybe I should do that now. No, I'll hold off on that. The information on the annual or the first annual Integrative Preparedness Stonemont gathering. It's going to be in the Kansas City area, July 13th, and it is up. The information is up on the Patreon channel. Go over there and check it out, and you'll want to be there. I want to encourage you, go over and check Pinball Preparedness's video on this today. Come back and watch the next one that I will do on the United Nations Summit. And I want to remind you that this and all of my videos are brought to you by my books, the Stonemont series. It's about the collapse of the world as a result of a CME and the rebuilding of societies the right way. Some people might say that it's science fiction. It's really not. It's dystopian. Yeah, it's futuristic. It's survival, it's preparedness. I say it's the complete guide to preparing for, surviving, and rebuilding after a total collapse of everything. It's 6 books so far. I'm almost done with the 7th, but the existing series is The Reversion, The Revival, The Renewal, and Appeal to Heaven, The Blessings of Freedom, and Hostages to Fortune. Read them in order, because that's the way I wrote them to be a complete story. A story that you'll love, and you will learn a lot from. You can get them from Amazon. And I'll put the link down below. You can get them in paperback, Kindle, or Audible. People are loving the Audible. There's a lot of people have told me I bought the set, I read the whole set, but now I've also got the Audible, so I can listen to it again while I'm driving or while I'm working or whatever like that, while the kids are screaming and I want to put my earbuds in. But that's great. Or you can get them from me. Now, you can't get the Audible and the Kindle from me, but you can get the paperbacks from me directly through our website, stonemont.us, and then I get to sign them for you and write a little note to you. And I really love that, because I love my relationship with my viewers. And we have just been, I just got a new load in. We sell out all the time, and then I order more, and people say, hey, when's my book going to get here? And I said, waiting for the shipment, but I just got a shipment in. So I'll be spending the rest of today doing that, signing books and getting them out. Also on the stonemont.us website, I think there's a page up now. If you go to the website and go to events, the information is there about the gathering, the get together this summer, and I hope you all can make it. Okay, so that's that. Go watch Pinballs now, and then come back and watch the next one that I do later, and let me know what you think about this, because this is the world we're going to be living in. Every time we take a step forward, we take 2 steps back, and you know that. And that's why a lot of people say a CME is our only hope. That's kind of why people love my books. Is that the only thing that can save us from this technological prison that's being constructed for us? We will see. But let me know what you think about this. And remember that we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. Preparing well means staying abreast of the information, staying abreast of what's going on in the world, being concerned, and preparing for it. All right. You all have a great day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.